Get loud. It's game day.
Windsor University strive.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the PIA High School Esports League, powered by TEC. We're here in week number 5 with some Overwatch action. My name is Llama77, joined by the handsome ya boy Q up here in the booth. Q, how you doing, and what can we expect from today's matches?
Oh, I am excited because one, it's a new week. You mentioned week number 5. We've crossed over that midway point, but today we got us a banger of a matchup to start things off. Central Buck South versus Penn Manor. If you ain't hip with it, these are two undefeated squads. And by two undefeated squads, perfect undefeated squads sitting at a perfect 3-0, 6-0 on their map counts. So one, somebody's got to lose their first map of the semester. There's a potential they both could. Somebody's also got to lose their first series in this first matchup. This should be a barn burner here, Mr. Llama.
I'm excited. I mean, one of these two teams is going to hit 4 wins. One of them is going to move into possibly the best position out of any other team. And maybe we have a chance after this week to only see 2 teams left undefeated. 3 teams right now overall undefeated. So the battle between these teams are going to be good, especially because you mentioned how flawless they have been throughout their season. They've been 2-0 all the way through. They've both been looking really solid. And now they've got to clash together today.
We saw Penn Manor, I think, is the back-to-back state champs, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're going for the 3-peat this year. Maybe it's the 3-peat going for the 4. I would have to go back and check my notes. I feel really bad in the fact that I don't. A little embarrassed, but that's okay. We did see this Penn Manor squad, though, at the Land of Steel, Llama. And I know from chatting with the players just a little bit there, they're feeling pretty confident right now. Can't blame them. I mean, they've looked incredibly dominant in every match that I've seen them. And I think I've gotten to at least cast one of their matches. I caught a couple of them, I think, with you and Hot Sauce calling some of the action earlier on this season as well. But this Penn Manor squad, I feel like is one of those teams. Often we see where a team isn't just simply carried by a player. We're like, oh, they're good. They've got 2, 3 strong players. This Penn Manor squad, they don't have a weak link. It feels like all 5 of their players really do a great job of carrying their weight in their own right. And when they're all firing on their own, like in their own, it can be a scary squad, so watch out.
Well, our map pool for today for these 2 scary squads will start out on Lijiang Tower. We get Flashpoint as a guarantee and then Hybrid if necessary for that 3rd map. Obviously, you've got to win 2 if you want to win the best of 3 series, and we're headed on to map number 1. It's going to be good. Central Buck South versus Penn Manor. Let's play some Overwatch.
Let's get down to it, baby. I always love me some good Overwatch to start the week. Yeah, I always love to see too, especially when we have 2 of our top tier squads. Is kind of the approach on the first fight, because sometimes you'll see even both of these squads, depending on who they're playing in other weeks, they'll be more aggressive towards the point. Here, both squads trying to find that first pick, and man, oh man, look how aggressive Penn Manor is, pushing this Titan squad all the way back to their spawn, Llama.
Oh, this is one of the most dirty points in all of Lijiang Tower. How are you supposed to push on through if you cannot land the poke? Penn Manor, early control of this control point. Already hits a long-range shot onto Clancy to make it a 5v4. And Fred Shed has already got the Diva Remac. Now for Artie, taking down that early support is good, but Shoot'em has been so good on this Reaper. We'll have to see how they use this right-sided angle.
When Shoot'em's on the Reaper, you just have to watch the back line. It adds a whole nother whole nother layer to the game for the opposition, because at any point in time Shoot'em pops back in there, especially when they have the ult available, can really take out 2, 3, 4 players just that quick. And I mean, we've seen multiple times, even just over the course of the season, where that's been the case. Central Buck South still really struggling with finding a way to be able to keep resisting against the pressure. Yeah, we've seen the Diva be able to do all right with keeping themselves up, but they're not doing a great job of being able to peel back for some of their more squishy players to keep them in the fight as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't really have a a shield other than that defense matrix to work off of. So playing that front to back is really, really tough. And even tougher when the Zarya on the other side is already charged up to 99 with an ultimate to boot. 2 supportive ultimates, and guess what? The DPS ultimates are right on the horizon as well. It's going to be a try from the Reaper, but Ronglong is eaten alive by the laser beam of the Zarya, and it's already up to 50% for Penn Manor.
And Manor looking solid right now. I mean, even when Central Buck South got brief control of the point, didn't feel like much of a like pressure as far as from Penn Manor. They didn't look like they had gotten as far as like any sort of hesitation, right? They just got regrouped and they were able to get the point right on back. They're at 70% here, and that does mean for the Titans you're in a tough spot. It feels like this probably the last full team fight you're gonna get, because unless you have a very quick one here, you're probably gonna be staggered enough where you're only gonna be able to get a second touch. So this has to be a huge ult here as far as from Lucio.
Gravity pulls him in, sound barrier's there, and unfortunately the extra health bars are just not enough. Diva Bomb to grab some extra space, but this fight was already written in the cards. Frenchette might change that though, with a headshot and extra kill on top of it. Death Blossom gets nothing, and Shoot'em's in a 1v1 that they win. A 2v1 now in the play, but that Diva deals massive damage. Central Bucks find a way to rip down 4 of the ultimates on the other side, and they resecure the point.
9 per second. See how long they can hold on to it. 99% means it's got to be the distance to our this Titans squad. These people push it back a little bit. Artie has to make sure they can keep themselves safe is going to be the first big thing. And keep pushing forward here as far as our tank. I love to see the Zarya coming out. I feel like it's a tank that we don't see too often on the front line, but whenever it does come across, can really give some problems to the opposition level.
Definitely can, especially depending on who you bubble, can use that shield very wisely. And men are playing well, but Artie's going to go into the overclock mode. That extra railgun charge delivering to Clancy's dome. But Ronglong sends one back home. It's 4-4 here as a fight in the upper high ground continues to rail on. But without their DPS, where's the damage for Central Buck South? The extra grenade is not enough. Brayden takes one down, but is it the fight that they need? Just one team fight, just 1% is all they have. D-mec'd, D-babied, and now it's all down to the Lucio to try and defend what they can. Clancy earns a double, Shoot'em's got the ultimate, and a hard-fought victory on sub-map number 1 goes to Penn Manor.
You know, we had tuned in to Shoot'em there, and I was wondering when the Death Blossom was going to come out. And when you see him already putting him down in succession, and you know you're sitting on that ult in the back pocket, you just knew it was a matter of time before Penn Manor take point number 1. Give it up to CB South. They definitely made it a fight. It looked like for a moment Penn Manor was going to run away with things. So the Titans definitely showing that this ain't going to be no easy task for sure. But I think inversely, Central Buck South, maybe it's hard to say underestimated this Penn Manor squad. I definitely feel like they've got the perception about them as like the best in the state for sure. But Central Buck South, it just feels like didn't quite show up in the way that they're hoping to on that first sub-map.
Yeah, kind of had to run into that South Fayette team, the one-timer blip in history, the lacrosse players who just decided to play for fun and were so good they made it all the way to the state finals.
Oh, yeah.
And Manor trying to revenge that this year as they retake back a lot of space out in the open, but unfortunately they're going to go for the wrap. Because Central Buck South got control of the statue first, they're going to try and play inside the actual point. The Reaper is going to be the target of the bubble, and the Soldier Grenade is really good to zone everybody else off. But for Penn Manor, the health bars are still good. They're already 90% of the way through the contention, and they're going to secure this point with Shoot'em earning first blood.
Great thing that Penn Manor is generally able to do is be able to grab that point while getting that first fight across. And now the big thing here is if you can stagger a couple of these kills out, especially the fact that it's some of your support players. Now if you can also grab the tank as well, now things get a little interesting because, well, now you've got yourself a Central Buck squad who can't really push onto the point, and it'll closer to 50%. The more bigger problem, though, is this squad from Penn Manor ain't going to be nice about it. They're just going to continue pushing forward and keep you pushed back against your spawn doors.
Still having to wait for that Diva respawn. That secondary life took so much time to finally get back up and going. Wrong swapping to the Genji as Brayden takes down Chunum. A huge first takedown, but Artie on the triple reneg. It's going to be Joe Voke who finds that early kill, finds a double into the back line. And it feels like for Fred Trent, you've got no damage around you. Targeting the pieces around this Diva first, and then just finding ways to take down the rest of the team. Jove will wave goodbye as Penn Manor hits 60%.
Solid here. I mean, last time at this point, I believe Central Buck South has at least been able to get themselves control of the point. I don't even know if they've been able to touch it here on the second sub map. I mean, it really feels like Penn Manor has gotten themselves locked in. They've been able to do a pretty good job of keeping them pinned back for the most part here. And Ult's gonna come out here again in succession. When they combine those things, they become absolutely masterful. It's not gonna be a whole team wipe, but 4 or 5, close enough.
Those shockwaves in the canals of the backline find so many openings, and the Diva is on a lone mission with 90% left to go. Will pop the bomb as soon as they demech. This might be the chance they need. Clancy, the long-range shot takes him down. Quickster's got another onto IJV. All of a sudden, without supports, how do Penn Manor approach this team fight? They don't. Central Buck South is able to rip another from the health realm, and Fred Chet is on a tear.
Well, you've been able to earn yourself a breath of life here. Again, similar situation to that last time around. 99% means you gotta be able to take this thing the different distance, but you gotta give it up to Fred Chet. Nice sneaky play to be able to keep things alive here for this Titans squad. Now it's going to be all about keeping themselves alive. Great job to fall on back, but Shunim playing extra aggressive, pushing into the back line. Frenchette not going to be able to peel in time. Already down. Frenchette trying to see if they can find themselves at least a pick, but they haven't been able to find any.
D-Meched and taken down, and unfortunately for them, the bubble on the early Reaper charges up this Zarya above 50, and that is just gonna seal the deal. Some extra Reaper shots, some denial as well. The capture is there, and the overtime fuse soon to dissipate. The touch isn't there, and Penn Manor has swept this first map.
I think what's incredibly impressive is somebody who has been able to see both of these teams, I guess, against obviously other squads before this week. Central Bucks South is a team that I feel like generally does a great job of looking other teams who are, you know, pretty high up in the standings and make them look kind of weak. I figured this was going to be one of those matchups that was like a hard fought overtime 99-85% sort of deal, while the Titans were able to get themselves control of each point a little bit. It never felt like Penn Manor was out of control. Really impressive to see just how much they dominated map number 1.
And I think it's kind of incredible that, you know, they were able to play Lijiang Tower so well. This is a map where if you get control of the point first, if you win fight number 1, you're getting 50-60% holding them out. But I think that sub-map number 1 was actually so impressive. I mean, they not only held that corridor, but they held it with 5 ultimates for like a minute of time and just sat there saying, okay, you want to take the final fight? We've got the resources to battle back to it. Now, things don't get much easier for Central Buck South because we've got a guaranteed flashpoint map here today in map number 2. They get to select where to go. I guess there's positives, there's negatives. You don't have to give up the attacking or defensive side because it is flashpoint, but this is another one where if you aren't taking your team fights clean enough, then it's just going to be Penn Manor cleaning up 2-0 on the day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can maybe say that for Central Buck South, there were a couple of times that you were able to take points and hold on to it for 50% on control. Those could be flashpoint full points, right? Because they do go by in a flash, coincidentally enough. I feel like that maybe have been intended as far as with the name itself. But I do feel this is probably one of the weeks, probably the toughest one to lose map number 1, because you do go to such a similar play style here. So I don't even know where you go. I feel like New Junk City is usually the fan favorite. But if you had to pick where you wanted to go here, Llama, hit me with it.
I want to see Atlas. I feel like we haven't gotten to see it really all last year because it wasn't added into the map pool. I think it was added sometime around June, so back in the summertime, and we haven't really gotten to Flashpoint. It's been in the options in that third rotation slot, but most of the matches here in PIEA ending in sweeps. So I think it'd be exciting to see that, especially because teams haven't studied it as much, but knowing these two teams, they're probably banning it first. If they don't know the maps, if they don't know the angles, they're probably getting it off the table first.
I have a feeling that Atlantis is probably not going to happen, which is part of the reason why I would really like to see a Cervasa, just because I feel like we're seeing New Junk City guaranteed once of at least the two that we have for the day. And it's interesting, right? Because I do feel like if you are CB South, you probably at least feel pretty comfortable on New Junk City and Cervasa. And if New Junk City is your better map, do you pick it when you feel like you're probably playing into a Penn Manor squad who also has a very good grasp on that? Because let's be honest, like New Junk City is kind of like that old tried and true, at least of the 3 flashpoints. Of course, saying that, I don't know if I would really expect Penn Manor to have a weak map on Flashpoint per se. So I definitely I can understand the I can empathize with the tough position that the Titans find themselves in right now.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting that I know we're talking about picking a map, but it's kind of, you don't really get to pick. Both teams kind of get one ban, and it's kind of just whatever's left up. But being the team that did lose first, you get to ban first. So you get to ban what you hate most, and then you kind of leave it up to the other team to decide between the two. So I think it's quite interesting, but like you mentioned, these two teams, I don't know that it's going to matter necessarily on a Flashpoint map. I think it's just going to come down to the composition changes for Central Buck South. I liked the Genji, but the problem is I think they swapped to it A little bit too late, and B, when they didn't have control, and it really couldn't find any way to walk out and find the backline and find those targets, especially though Venture is such a huge counter almost to Genji. Genji's like, I'm gonna go stab you with my sword, and Venture's like, I'm gonna go underground, no thank you.
Let's take a look